Welcome back. It's another episode of the podcast, another week of Win Big Sports Talk Betting Podcast. I'm Gabriel Schrei. Thanks so much for being with us. You can sponsor the podcast and reach out to us at WBSNsports.com and BWSNsports.com. You can also find up-to-the-minute highlights, rumors, and news. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at WBSN Sports. You can also subscribe to the podcast feed, the audio-only version, on Spotify and Anchor FM. You can tune in on Spotify, Anchor FM, WBSNsports.com, 105.3 Power Radio, and 96.9 Fresh Air Radio. You can also watch the podcast at WBSNsports.com or cut out the middleman and head right to our YouTube channel at WBSN Sports. Okay, college football picks. I'm 121-30 this season picking games, so that's pretty good. My betting has not been so great, so I would not... You can listen to my analysis on the games, but I would not mime my bets. That's what I'll tell you. We're going to get started with Oklahoma State at Oklahoma, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick in that one. Oklahoma State ranked number 24. Earlier this season, it looked like it could decide a college football playoff berth. Both teams are now out of contention. So Bedlam is always a lot of fun. Last season, OSU snapped a 6-game skid to Oklahoma. They won 37-33 in Stillwater. The biggest question mark is the status of the Cowboys quarterback, Spencer Sanders. He's got a shoulder injury and came off the bench last week and threw a go-ahead touchdown to help beat Iowa State. So my pick is OSU 28-24 in that one. Number 22, Cincinnati at Temple, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. I'm taking Cincinnati. They're just a year removed from making history as the first group of 5 team to qualify for the playoff. They're 8-2, so another bid is not coming, but they're still having a great season, and at 5-1 in conference play, they have a great chance to make the AAC championship game. They look primed to move to 6-1 against Temple, which is a 1-5 in conference team, and they've lost. They've just really struggled. So Cincy is a 17-point favorite. I think they might even cover that spread. My score pick is going to be 28-6 in that one. SMU at number 21, Tulane, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Tulane looking to rebound from a tough home loss to UCF that didn't feel quite as close as it should have been. They trailed 24-7 in the second quarter and 31-17 heading into the fourth quarter. The Knights kept him at bay, a 38-31 victory there. So Tulane is 8-2. They could play for the AAC championship as well. It's a 3-way tie at the top of the conference with UCF and Cincy. Their defense has been solid, ranking 20th nationally in total defense, allowing just 320 yards per game. SMU has this super high-powered offense. They're putting up 40 points per game. So I think that's where we're going to be, and it's going to come down to that defensive Tulane. My score pick, and this is a high pick, 45-38 in that one. Louisiana at number 20, Florida State. Noon Eastern Standard Time kick. Got to go with Florida State in that one. Mike Norvell finally has got things going right in Tallahassee. Team 7-3, their best record since they were 10-3 back in 2016, which was Jimbo Fisher's final full season. FSU has had a great last few weeks, beating Georgia Tech, Miami, and Cuse by a combined 102 points. In those 3 wins, Jordan Travis threw for 9 touchdowns with just 1 interception. In the Seminoles' victory over the Orange, he missed on just 2 of 23 passes. So Louisiana, not a lot of fight up against Florida State. My score pick is 42-10 in that one. Number 19, Kansas State at West Virginia, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. I'm taking Kansas State. They're looking to get a spot in the Big 12 championship game next month, but they have to get past 4-6 West Virginia to do so. The Wildcats are 5-2 in Big 12 play, right behind 7-0 TCU. Kansas State beat West Virginia 34-17 last season, a win that snapped a 5-game losing streak to the Mountaineers. So their offense should have an advantage against the WVU defense. The Mountaineers rank 101st in total defense. They allow over 400 yards per game. K-State is going to rely on their running back, Deuce Vaughn. Starting quarterback Adrian Martinez is out for a few weeks. He suffered a leg injury against Baylor. Will Howard threw for almost 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in their 31-3 win over Baylor. It's obviously tough to go on the road, especially without your starter quarterback. So Vaughn has rushed for 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. He should be able to take some pressure off of Howard, and we'll see. The Mountaineers have a chance, but I'm picking K-State 28-21 in that one. Boston College at number 18 Notre Dame, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Got to take the Fighting Irish. They've looked pretty good this year. They started the season 0-2, including a home loss to Marshall, but then they've rebounded. They're 4-0 over the last 4 weeks, including victories over Syracuse, Clemson, so some real quality wins there. And depending on what happens over the next 2 weeks, they could finish with 9 wins. This week, they face Boston College. The Eagles are just 3-7, but they just upset then number 17 North Carolina State 21-20 on the road. BC trailed 20-7 in the third before Moorhead threw his second and third touchdown passes, picked the all-important extra points. So, I think Notre Dame is going to win this, but Boston College is kind of in dangerous form. My prediction is that they'll handle them. 28-10, my score pick in that one. Navy at number 17, UCF, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time pick. I'd love for Navy to win that one just because it's fun, but UCF is almost certainly going to handle business by quite a few touchdowns. They look like the best bet for a group of 5 team to earn a New Year's 6 bowl. The Knights are the highest-ranked team, non-Power 5 squad, and have won their last 3 games, beating 2 ranked opponents in Cincinnati and Tulane. They found success with their quarterback, Plumlee, who transferred from Ole Miss. He's thrown for over 2,000 yards and 12 touchdowns with just 6 interceptions. He also leads the rushing attack with 700 yards and 9 touchdowns. So they're a 16.5-point favorite against 3-7 Navy. I think they're going to do a lot more than cover that spread. My score pick is 44-12, UCF winning that one. Colorado at number 15, Washington, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Washington wrecked Oregon's chances of getting into the playoff last week. So as the Huskies upset the Ducks, they started the year 4-0. Then they had a 2-game losing streak, UCLA and Arizona State. Since then, Washington and the Huskies are back to 4-0, including a 24-21 win over Oregon State last week before that Oregon Ducks contest. So I think they're going to clean them up. Score pick is 35-3 in that one. I really don't think Colorado will put up much of a fight against Washington. Number 14, Ole Miss at Arkansas, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Definitely all Ole Miss. I think Arkansas will chip in a few touchdowns, but Ole Miss has been so good. Both teams have kind of digressed from last season. Ole Miss was 10-3. Arkansas finished 9-4. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just coasting at this point. Head coach Lane Kiffin is looking to get his team to respond this week. Ole Miss will probably beat Arkansas. I'm picking 38-20 in that one. They beat them last season. KJ Jefferson, if he's healthy, this could be a shootout like last season, but I think Kiffin is looking to silence the critics. And, he's saying, I have not reached my ceiling here at Ole Miss. Georgia Tech at number 13, North Carolina, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. The more North Carolina keeps winning, the more intriguing the upcoming ACC championship game against Clemson looks. They've improved to 9-1 with a 36-34 win over Wake Forest last week. They face Georgia Tech, who has lost 3 of 4 playing under interim head coach Brent Key. Redshirt freshman quarterback Drake May has been outstanding for the Tar Heels, throwing for 3,400 yards and 34 touchdowns with just 3 interceptions. So I think he'll continue to be hot. He'll continue to look great. Georgia Tech 96th in total defense, over 400 yards per game. I think May and the offense will have a big day. My score pick is 45-9, North Carolina in that one. Thanks to losses to Michigan and Ohio State, Penn State is out of the Big Ten title race. But at 8-2, Nittany Lions will have their best finish in the last few seasons since they went 11-2 in 2019. The offense has improved a lot, and thanks to Nicholas Singleton, he's rushed for 801 yards and 10 touchdowns. Last week against Maryland, he broke the program record for rushing scores by a freshman. So Rutgers, 3 straight losses to Minnesota, Michigan, and Michigan State. Not a lot of fight left in him. My score pick in that one is 28-3. Utah at number 12, Oregon. Utah ranked number 10 in the nation. That's a 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. This game looked like it was going to have playoff implications before Oregon's loss to Washington, so it should be a great matchup either way. The Ducks offense had a lot of success with Bo Nix. They've averaged almost 43 points per game. He's top 20 in passing nationally, 2,700 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. So Ducks will be facing that tough Utes defense. They rank 22nd in total defense, 327 yards per game. Utah is also 10th in turnover margin, having picked up 19 takeaways. So it should be close. My pick is Utah by just a field goal, 41-38, my score pick in that one. We'll see how it shakes out. Miami at number 9, Clemson, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Despite losing 35-14 to Notre Dame 2 weeks ago, Clemson can still possibly make the playoff come December. The Tigers rebounded well last week, beating Louisville 31-16. If Clemson wins out against Miami and South Carolina, the ACC championship against UNC could be a top 10 matchup. So, could be interesting. Clemson has to keep winning to make up for its loss to Notre Dame, and I think the Tigers are going to do just that this week with a big win, 45-17 over Miami. Austin Peay at number 8, Alabama. That's a noon Eastern Standard Time kick. Bama will keep on rolling. The Crimson Tide are going to miss the playoff for the first time since 2019, and that's a big storyline. But as long as Nick Saban is in Tuscaloosa, it'll be all right. FCS, Austin Peay, which is 7-3. I really can't see him upsetting the Tide. My score pick is 45-7. Bama wins that one. Number 7, USC at number 16, UCLA, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. The Trojans look like the Pac-12's last hope to get a team kind of snuck into the playoff. If TCU stumbles or a couple of 2-loss conference champions emerge, the Trojans could have a shot. USC is 9-1 and will close its season with 2 ranked opponents in UCLA and Notre Dame. Saturday's game looks to be their biggest test yet. Bruins are 8-2 with losses to Oregon and Arizona. They beat the team that beat USC earlier in the season in Utah. UCLA has an offense that scores a lot of points with quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson and running back Zach Charbonnet. Bruins average just about 40 points per game, good for 11th in the country. So my pick, just a field goal win for USC, 41-38 in that one. UAB at number 6, LSU, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick in that one. I'm definitely going to roll with LSU. They clinched the SEC West last weekend with a win over Arkansas. The Tigers are favorites. You know, the 5-5 UAB, they can't do much to a 14.5-point favorite LSU. If LSU wants a shot at making the playoff, winning big in its next 2 games are key. So they're going to try and just do that. I think they're going to run the score up. 42-6 is my score pick as the Tigers just try to hang a few extra ones on them to show off for the committee. Number 5, Tennessee at South Carolina. A lot of people are calling this a trap game. I don't know. I think Tennessee's so good. TCU's win over Texas last week hurt Tennessee's playoff chances, but the Volunteers appear to be doing everything they can to earn some late season style points. They won 66-24 against Missouri on Saturday. The Vols likely need a blowout win in their last 2 games to have a shot at a playoff bid. That's bad news for South Carolina. The Gamecocks defense gave up 38 points to Florida last week, and the unit enters this game tied for 68th in scoring defense. Tennessee has won 3 straight over the Gamecocks and should beat up on them. 62-10 is my score pick in that one. Number 4, TCU at Baylor. Noon Eastern Standard Time kick. Horned Frogs are winning that one for sure. TCU's best chance at making the playoff is to remain unbeaten through the regular season. They can't lose again. Going back-to-back on the road in 2 weeks is tough for any team, but TCU will be careful here not to let the playoff hype get to the program. The Horned Frogs have had close wins in each road game they've played this season, not to mention Baylor, the reigning Big 12 champions, would love to spoil their playoff hopes since the Bears are essentially out of the Big 12 race. I think TCU can win against a struggling Baylor team on Saturday to reach 11-0. My score pick is 24-14 in that one. Illinois at number 3, Michigan, the Wolverines. It's a noon Eastern Standard Time kick. This game looked a lot more intriguing a couple weeks ago. Illinois has dropped 2 straight games to the Spartans of Michigan State and the Boilermakers of Purdue. And, they've allowed 54 points in their last 2 games, and they're just kind of falling apart. So Michigan is an 18-point favorite against Illinois. The Wolverines offense shouldn't have too many problems against the Fighting Illini. With their struggles, I just think the Wolverines are going to roll on in there. If Illinois can win the Big Ten West, we could see this matchup again in the Big Ten Championship. My score pick is 48-13, Michigan winning this one. Number 2, Ohio State at Maryland, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Buckeyes will continue to win. And of course, just mentioned Michigan, they'll have to get past Ohio State at the end of the season for that to happen. The Buckeyes season has been mostly drama-free because OSU has blown out virtually every opponent they've faced. Ohio State has all 7 meetings against Maryland in their corner. They've won, so I don't think they'll have any problems extending that streak to 8 on Saturday. My score pick is 55-13 Buckeyes. Number 1, Georgia traveling up north to Kentucky for a 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Man, it just Kentucky kind of fell off. They were doing great this year. This looked like it'd be really interesting at the beginning of the season, but they have performed below expectations. They've lost 4 of their last 6 games to fall to 6-4. So Kentucky got upset by Vanderbilt last week, which was crazy. Vanderbilt's first SEC win since 2019. Will Levis was expected to go high in the NFL draft, has seen his stock fall a little bit. I think he'll still go high in the draft. He's thrown for 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns with 9 picks. Georgia's played so well. They've played well on the road this season. It's not going to change on Saturday. My score pick is 42-14. Georgia Bulldogs win that one. A couple of bonus picks here. UMass at Texas A&M. That's a noon kick. Texas A&M is a 33-point favorite. I don't think they'll cover that spread. 28-3 is my score pick, and that one should be interesting. Duke at Pittsburgh, noon kick, Eastern Standard Time, taking Pittsburgh. No ACC title implications. Should be a decent game. Should be a good one to watch. I think it'll be really tight. My score pick is 28-27. Pittsburgh just eking that one out over Duke. Syracuse at Wake Forest. That's an 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. I'm sticking with the Orange. I think they'll win by about a touchdown. 25-18 is my score pick in that one. Florida at Vanderbilt. Speaking of Vanderbilt, getting their first SEC win. I do think they're going to go ahead and lose that one to Florida. I think Florida will win 38-14. Michigan State, Indiana. That's a noon Eastern Standard Time kick in East Lansing. I think Michigan State wins that one 35-10. My score pick there. Old Dominion and Appalachian State. Going with the Mountaineers. I think they're going to win pretty big in that one, probably 35-8, my score pick there. Fresno State at Nevada, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. That's all Fresno State. I don't think they stand a chance. 45-14, my score pick there. There you have it. College football picks in the books. Let's talk about NFL football picks. I'm 65-33 overall this season picking NFL games, which is not great. Not doing great on that. My last 3 weeks have not done well betting. I tried to place some bets before I started recording the podcast, and for some reason, I'm using FanDuel. It thinks I'm not in Tennessee. I'm like 35 miles from the border with Georgia. I don't know why it thinks I'm somewhere else, but it's fine. Cleveland Browns at Buffalo Bills, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick on CBS. Bills are a 7.5-point favorite. This one got moved to Detroit because of weather concerns. That erases Buffalo's home field advantage, but moving the game out of the thunder snow likely helps the Bills more than the Browns, since the Browns could have benefited from a bit of volatility. The Bills have been hot this season, probably still the best club in the NFL. So I'm definitely going with them. I think they cover the spread. I think they win. Philadelphia Eagles at Indianapolis Colts. That's a 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick on CBS. The Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite. How could they not be at 8-1? I'm taking the Colts in this one. The Eagles' first loss of the season was more than just an ego blow. Dallas Goedert, who trails only A.J. Brown in receiving yards to the team, injured his shoulder during a pivotal fourth quarter and landed on injured reserve this week. Traveling to Indianapolis, who looked revitalized in their first game under interim coach Jeff Saturday. He got Matt Ryan back as the starting quarterback, calling a lot of rollouts, screens, and run-pass options. Jonathan Taylor's looking sharp, had his second 100-yard rushing game of the season. I'm calling for the upset here. We'll see what happens, but I'm picking the Colts. Dallas Cowboys at Minnesota Vikings. That is a 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick on CBS. The Vikings are a 1-point favorite. I'm picking the Cowboys. Make it make sense. The Cowboys were outscored by 17 in the fourth quarter, an overtime loss to the Packers last week. They're now 2-2 with Dak Prescott as the starter this season. The Vikings upset the Bills last week in what is being called the game of the year, thanks in part to Justin Jefferson, who became the first NFL player to top 100 receiving yards 20 times in his first 3 seasons. I'm going with the Cowboys. I think they got it. I think they got to get back on track. Just what I'm seeing. Kansas City at the Los Angeles Chargers, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick on NBC. You can watch that. Kansas City's a 6.5-point favorite. I think they'll cover the spread. Jalen Watson's pick 6 of Justin Herbert was a big-time play on prime time earlier this season. Patrick Mahomes was struggling behind the line of scrimmage, needed the defense to come in and make the big play. I think Kansas City has settled down and adjusted in the games since that early season matchup. The Chargers have seen Herbert's top 2 targets, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, go down with injuries, so both are questionable for Sunday's game. Herbert ranks 2nd in the NFL behind Tom Brady in pass attempts, but he's 14th in completion percentage, a stat that won't improve without effective pass catchers available to him. Going with Kansas City, I think the favorite is a great pick here. Chicago Bears at Atlanta Falcons, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick on Fox. Love to see it. The Falcons are a 3-point favorite. The Bears are the highest scoring offense of any NFL team this past month. Justin Fields has almost 600 rushing yards in their last 5 games. And Chicago's offense kind of seems to be figuring it out. The defense, different story. Atlanta's defense might be even worse, but the Falcons have a lot to play for. So while the Bears' playoff chances are all but dead, the Falcons are 2nd in the NFC South. They can't afford to lose a home game. I'm going with the Falcons. I think they win this one down in the Peach State. New York Jets at New England Patriots, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Watch it on CBS. Patriots are a 3-point favorite. New England has won the past 13 regular season meetings of these two teams and handed the Jets their only loss in the past 6 games. The Jets haven't won in Foxborough since a playoff game in 2011, but bettors are pretty split on this one. I'm going with the Patriots. I think they're going to keep it going. New England has the most difficult remaining schedule of any team, so this is a crucial contest for them. Los Angeles Rams at New Orleans Saints, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick on Fox. I'm going with the Saints. Believe it or not, the Rams are the defending Super Bowl champions, but they have not looked like it, and a return to the postseason not looking super likely. Last week, they lost receiver Cooper Kupp, probably their most important player, to an ankle injury that might end his season. Kupp has 35% of the Rams' catches, a league high, and has caught 6 of the team's 9 touchdown passes. So Matt Stafford is going to be needing help. I think the Saints have got it going on. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, looking great, but I believe people are done with him, so we'll see. Jameis Winston could be back on the field again soon. I don't know about this week, but could be soon. Detroit Lions at New York Giants, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Watch it on Fox. Hey, the Lions won another game. Love to see it. The Giants continue to walk between the raindrops, most recently allowing the Texans to hang around until the fourth quarter last week. The Lions scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to defeat the Bears in Chicago. First time they've come back from a 14-point deficit in the fourth quarter in 29 years. The Giants and the Lions are ranked 19th and 20th in Football Outsiders defense-adjusted value over average rankings. In a matchup between two fairly even teams, it's usually the right move to take the points. Taking the Lions. Las Vegas Raiders at Denver Broncos, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kick. Josh McDaniels of the Raiders and Nathan Hackett of the Broncos have the hottest seats among NFL coaches. Betting markets believe McDaniels is more likely to go first, but not before potentially giving Hackett a momentary case for reprieve. Entering Sunday, Denver has lost 5 of its last 6 games. Russell Wilson is thrown into coverage a lot. His top receiving option, Jerry Jeudy, is questionable with an ankle injury, so it's going to be tough, but I got to go with the Broncos in this one. 2 more picks left to bring to you, but first, a quick break. There you go, Shrine Media. Make you go live. Shout out to shrinemedia.com. I do that too, just, if you couldn't figure it out, I also do live streaming, media consultation. I can help your college, your high school stream like a pro, or if you're a semi-pro sports franchise or a pro sports franchise, I can set up equipment, make you guys look great. Just reach out to me, shrinemedia.com. Steelers, I'm picking the Steelers. So, again, I like the Steelers. This is a horrible pick. The Bengals probably will win this. I'm picking them. TJ Watt returned to the Steelers lineup in last week's win against the Saints, and not a moment too soon. The Steelers are 11-1 when Watt plays. With a win this week, Pittsburgh can spoil the Bengals' playoff hopes. I don't know. The Bengals have a 50% chance of making the playoffs per upshot. Their schedule after Sunday gets a lot harder with the Bills, the Bucks, Kansas City, and the Ravens. I'm taking the Steelers. 4.5-point favorite. I'm taking them. Monday night, it's San Francisco and the 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. If you want to tune in, it's 8:15 p.m. on ESPN. The Cardinals are an 8.5-point favorite. Kyle Shanahan kicked a field goal out by 3 with 1 minute left in the game, and because of that, the team ended up falling by 1 point to cover the 7-point spread. For whatever reason, the Cardinals are 11-3 on the road since last season. Kyler Murray is questionable for Monday, and his replacement, Colt McCoy, went a respectable 26 of 37 for 238 yards and a touchdown last week. Zach Ertz injured his knee on the opening drive and is out for the season, placing even more of the offensive load on DeAndre Hopkins. So whether the Cardinals can cover depends on Murray's status. I'm taking the Cardinals, though. That's it. That's all I got for you. I would usually share my bets with you happily here. But as I mentioned, for some reason, FanDuel thinks I'm in Georgia today. So before I give you our clips of the week, one more ad. There you go. Give us a visit, shrinemedia.com. We'd appreciate it. Check out the services we offer. Best streaming in the business. We can set it up, get it done right just for you. Clips of the week can be viewed on the video version of the podcast if you're tuned in, listening on the radio or online. Find it at WBSNsports.com or cut out the middleman. Head right to our YouTube channel, WBSN Sports. This is Vanderbilt in Kentucky last week. I took my man's hat. You see him? Right in the center. Watch right here. Snatched his hat. Come on. Give my man his hat back. Why you got to do that? All right, one more. This next one is not safe for work, so if you got kids around or whatever, this is obscene.
Cheaters. Fuck y'all. Well, all right. No. Sorry, guys. Did not mean to do that. It is live television. Anything can happen.
Well, now you know how the Astros fans feel. You know, I mean, that's how if you still think they're cheaters, now you know. I don't know. I think it's funny. That's it for the Win Big Sports Talk and Sports Betting Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Gabriel Schrei. Follow me at Schrei Guy. Follow WBSN Sports at WBSN Sports. We'll see you next week for more betting talk and another edition of the podcast. Have a great weekend.
Audio Jungle.